So I want to back up to like pre-top 10. It's funny, people know like from my top 10 year and stuff, but actually I found my most successful year, I believe, in this business, actually my first full year in this business. And I kind of want to share a little bit about that because I know you said you have a lot of, new diamonds, or you might have a lot of veteran diamonds. And I think everyone runs their own race in this business. You get to choose how quickly you build or how aggressively you goal set. And when I started in 2014 in July. And so then I want to kind of share what I did that first year. So in February of 2015, so I was 7 months into coaching. I was a baby. Oh my gosh. I had no clue what I was doing. I just knew I was passionate about helping women love themselves again. And I was passionate about, where I wanted to take this business. Cause at the time I didn't really have any true, like long-term stable success, right? I'm 7 months in, who knows how it's going to pan out. But I was passionate about my own vision, what I wanted to use this business to help me create within my own life. And so February 2015, so I'm 7 months into coaching at this time. And I told my team that year, I said, we're going for top 10. As I literally had maybe 25 people in my downline. Like it was a baby team. I was a diamond coach at the time. And I'll never forget doing the Zoom call with them. So we could screenshot, I should go back. I'm sure I have it somewhere. We could screenshot it, and we didn't even fill up one whole Zoom frame, like on those Zoom frames, like it fills up each. We didn't even have a second slide of people to go to. It was just one. I think there was probably 15 people on, you guys. So here I am 7 months into coaching. I'm like, we're going to be a top 10 team. I believe in us. Let's go for this. I know you guys want to build full-time incomes, or you want to leave your jobs and be stay-at-home moms, or just work from home women and be your own bosses. I said, so let's do this together. I wanted to puke. And during that call, it was like, I've never wanted to get sick so bad in my life. I felt like such an idiot. I was sweating. But that call paved the way for the rest of the year. And it gave permission for my team. I apologize about my dogs. It gave permission for my team to dream big with me. You can hear everyone downstairs. So it gave them permission. They're like, well, if Ruth is crazy enough to think for some reason, like she can be a top 10 coach when she's a brand new diamond, like, okay, I can do X, Y, and Z. I can do this too. And it gave everyone permission on that call, and anyone who came into our team later on, permission to dream big as well, because I set that tone for the team. Like, we're going to be courageous, we're going to be loud, and we're going to, be forthright in how we want to help women love themselves, lose weight, and also build businesses from home. And we're going to go after it. That year, so I started the year as a diamond. I ended as a very, very stable 7-star diamond coach, number 20 in the company, and went elite that year. It would have never happened had I not had the balls, to be honest, just to freaking go for it and say, like, here's where we're going. And I think that's the scariest thing. But once you step up to that plate and allow yourself, because I know I work with a lot of coaches who are either new coaches and they're doing the things and they're doing it well, or they're new diamonds, or maybe even star diamonds, and they have so much potential, and where they're holding themselves back is allowing themselves to go for it, allowing themselves to dream big, allowing themselves to have courageous goals, and allowing themselves to lead courageously. And I'm saying courageously and not fearlessly, which I'll get to later. But you will always have fear, no matter where you are in this business. It doesn't matter. So you have to find the courage to push through that fear, even though it will always exist. So I kind of want to share a little bit. I'm going to kind of do this, not that type of thing, in regards to what I've learned in leadership and how I was able to grow that year and how I've continued to grow since then. But the first thing I want to start with this, I want you guys to go take this ride with me, if you will. So I want you guys to act like you've never ever heard of or seen an airplane before. All right. So airplanes literally just came out. Nobody has ever seen an airplane, taken a flight in an airplane, nothing, because they are brand new. Okay. So I want you to say, first scenario, we have this man, he comes out, he's in his three-piece tie, whatever, and he's a three-piece outfit. He looks like super formal. And he's like, hey, ladies, we have this big, huge metal canister, if you will. And we put some big, huge metal wings, if you want to call them that, if you will, all together. This contraption weighs like 20 tons. It's super, 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 super heavy. And it's very, very complicated in regards to how we get this thing to fly. And you're like, so we're going to turn on, we have a pilot. We've trained him for hours because it's very complex. We actually have 2 pilots because there's like 750 switches for them to choose from while they're flying the plane. And then there's even men who are watching from a tower. And these men are watching and helping fly the plane too, because that's how complex it is. And the men in the tower, the air traffic control men, from what we've heard, it's going to be like one of the most high stress jobs ever and have a high suicide rate. But anyways, in this canister you guys are going to get in, we're going to fly you anywhere you want in the world. And it's going to be awesome. Who wants to go ahead and get in with us and go on a flight? Who wants to get in that metal canister? Yeah. So our next guy comes in and he's like, ladies, you should see what we have for you. This is going to revolutionize how you live. Your life, the experiences you get to have in life will never, ever be the same again. We have created a fabulous machine that is going to take you from where you live now to anywhere you want in the world in a fraction of the time. Not only that, but you get to come in, you get to sit back, kick back, put in your earbuds, because these exist, and we have TVs for you to watch, whatever you want to watch. Real Housewives, we got it. We're going to serve you wine and cocktails and dinner while you're in flight with us. We have the classiest flight crew ever. We have top of the line pilots. They not only are good at what they do, but they also look good. And we're going to safely transport you to wherever you want in the world safely with us. It's going to be amazing. You can take your families on trips now. Places you weren't allowed to go before, you can now go to. Any destination you have ever dreamed of, we are going to help you get there in a fraction of the time so you can spend your life enjoying moments with your family and with your friends and seeing the world and seeing history and learning about everywhere in the US or in the entire world that you have never been. Would you guys want to get in that plane?
Yeah.
Whole lot different, right? 2 different scenarios. So what I have noticed in leadership is that there's 2 ways that people typically lead. One is they think that maybe they have to tell everybody exactly what to do. They have to map it out. They have to do the nitty-gritty. They have to tell them step by step every single detail down to the last thing. They are managing. They are like, okay, do X, Y, and Z, do X, Y, and Z, do X, Y, and Z. Don't come back to me until you've done X, Y, and Z, because you can't go from X, Y, and Z to over here until you've done these things, right? And that's very much like our first scenario with the plane. It doesn't paint a picture of why would anyone ever want to do X, Y, and Z. And in our business, we know sometimes it's very scary things like posting your before and after photos, inviting people to this business, telling them about this business, sharing about your love for the business, in regards to your team, and not even in regards to your team, but in regards to social media in general, sharing with what you want from this business with the entire world, right? So instead of leading with why or how this will change and impact people's lives, I see a lot of coaches come in and they go into total management mode, and not on purpose. It's not like they want to be someone's manager. It's just because they don't know what else to do, right? So it's way easier to think like, I'll just tell people what to do so they know how to do it. But that doesn't always create action. Why not? Just like in scenario 1, because those things you're asking them to do, they're scary. So no one wants to get on. If we actually looked at, I don't know how much a plane weighs, by the way, or any of that stuff, but if we actually looked at like a plane is insane when you think about it. Like, you are getting into this metal container that weighs a shit ton. Like, what are we actually doing? Right? But we do it because we know what's at the end of that flight. We know the amazing experience it is going to give us. And when you come into leadership in this business, and so many people, I believe, overcomplicate it. And instead of leading with the what to do, we need to lead with the why, with our vision. When I got on my call, I was talking about when I was a brand new coach, I didn't get on the call and say like, all right, guys, we're going to go top 10 and I need everybody on here. You guys have to hit Success Club every single month. I need everybody. If I had 3 people, I need you guys to do X, Y, and Z. Everyone has to go Emerald. And then you have to get your coaches to go Emerald. And then we have to get those coaches to go Emerald. And like, everyone has to be Diamond on here. I didn't say that to them at all. I didn't say like, you have to do your power of 3 every day or we can't go top 10. It was none of that. It was 100% painting a picture for my team, what this business could do for them when they grow it, right? So for some people, that's going to be pay for your groceries. That is what they want from this business. And that's super, super cool if that's their end goal. For other people, maybe they want the dream house. They want the dream house and the vacation house. And they want to quit their job. They want all of the things. And that is super cool as well. So the first don't I have for you is leadership is not creating more training. Leadership is not a PowerPoint presentation. Leadership is not another power of 3 or vital behaviors checklist that is prettier than the last one that you put out 3 months ago. Guess what? The look of that paper, right? Literally, we have like 100 different power hours circulating amongst Beachbody, right? But then I'm guilty of it as well. We're like, how should I recreate this? And then we spend 7 hours of our time making a new vital behaviors checklist. It's like, why, right? So I find that with my coaches, this gets confused very easily. Instead of focusing on the why and the vision and their mission, they go straight to training. Okay, what can I create that's new? What PowerPoint can I create? What checklist can I create? That is not leadership. Leadership is leading always with your vision. What is your vision for yourself? And what is your vision? What is your vision for your team? Which leads me to my second point. Leadership will never be about your rank. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. Again, let me tee this up for you. Like, you come to your team, like, you're like, let's be a 10-star diamond team this year, you guys. Like, we can do it. Why in the hell would someone care about being on a 10-star diamond team? I'm serious. Like, if I was a new coach, why would I care about that? When I came into this business, I didn't know what 10-star was. No clue. Didn't know what that meant. You know what I did care about? Not fighting with my husband about money. Not living paycheck to paycheck. Okay? So instead of saying, let's be a 10-star diamond team, you need to think about how you communicate your vision for the coach's success on your team. Being a 15-star to me didn't mean being a superstar diamond. It meant I had helped 12 to 15 women in my downline create income producing businesses. It meant that moms got to leave their jobs. It meant that, Cassidy, my 24-year-old, could leave her corporate job and just from the time she was 24 years old, be her own boss. Like, how freaking crazy is that? And she just bought her second home. Like, that's what it means. And you have to paint that picture for them, because 10-star diamond means nothing to your team. And it shouldn't mean anything to your team. Instead, show them why building this business, show them how and why building this business is going to change their life. And then, again, instead of applying more training, I want you guys, the next time you want to tell somebody something to do, this is so true, you guys. I would say I'm really good at pumping up the volume when I want to. So like in my business, I feel like I have a push year and then I have a relaxing year, which does not, my relax is someone else's like full blown 100%, but my relaxing is their full blown. So like when I say relax, I still meant like I'm bringing in 15 coaches a month. I'm still hitting Success Club 40. I'm still helping my coaches, but I have like a push year and then a relax year and then a push year and a relax year. It's just how I've always kind of done this. And And I can tell you when I analyze, okay, what did I like last year, for instance, why was my business slower last year? Why was my team slower last year? Why didn't I have as many rank advancements on my team? Why weren't as many coaches hitting Success Club? I promise you it comes down to two things. Number one is relationships with your coaches. Having relationships with your coaches, knowing their why, and being able to build them up based upon those things. So for instance, after I had my twins in June, I'm not going to lie, like my team knows this. I was like, okay, like I'm going to be here. I'm going to do team trainings. Obviously I'm going to like message you guys back, but my family is my main priority. I'm going to soak in every second that I can. I am obviously always here for you guys, but I wasn't putting as much energy into the business. My energy was going into my family at that time. And when I think about the first half of the year, when the first half of the year we were blowing it up, I think we were still at like 15. I had like six success starters within the first 6 months of the year, few star diamond rank advancements. And I look back and I analyze, okay, what changed from January to June last year to July to December? And the only difference is because all the training is still there, right? They had all the same training, which works. They had the team page. They had me doing calls every single week. So I was still doing my weekly calls with new coaches, doing my weekly calls with the team. The only difference was my energy and in my personal connections with people, like being in their ear on Facebook Messenger, not telling them what to do, not that, but just saying this, you guys, it's way easier than we make it out to be. Literally just saying, you can do it. You're a rock star. I know you can do this. That's it. The next time somebody comes to you, I want you guys to try this, right? How many guys have your inbox and someone comes to you and they're like, I don't know if I can do this. I'm just really tired. And they like give you like a rundown and you open it and immediately like the energy is sucked out of you. Instead of going, because I think a lot of the times it's easy to go into a defense, like a defensive or like, girl, just like do this stuff. Or you kind of get annoyed, frustrated, right? That's kind of a natural reaction. Instead of doing that, I want you to ask yourself, how can I lift them up? How can I love on them? How can I not push them right now, right? The last thing they freaking need to hear is go do a power of 3 or power hour. And instead just say, how can I love on them? If you simply start with love and they feel that, then you're gaining their trust and you're gaining their respect, and they know that you have their best interest in mind versus the interest of getting to 10-star diamond or 15-star diamond or whatever it is. Start with love always when you are communicating with your coaches, even when they come to you with that laundry list that we know is sometimes super annoying, right? I have like twins, I'm like crying and someone else is like, oh, I can't do this. My full-time job is really hard right now. And I'm like, I'm running a business and I have new twins. What are you effing talking about? Like, get off of my messenger, right? But you have to like step outside of that. You have to stop and you have to tell yourself like their experience is real to them. How they feel is real to them. And they are allowed to feel that way. And instead of telling them, why they should have no excuses or why, well, I have twins and I'm doing X, Y, and Z. Instead of that, coming from a place of, you can do this. I believe in you. I'm here to support you. How can I help you through this? Because I know you have so much potential to give versus telling them to go do a power hour. Very different things. And when I look at when my team operates best, it's when I'm coming from that place of love and respect first. And then that they trust me moving forward because they know I have their interest at mind, not like my own rank or whatever it is. They know it's about them and what they want. The other thing, Ike, can you stop? The other thing too is when you build these relationships with your coaches, especially with their new coaches, when you have that relationship with them, and also remember what you're putting out there on social media, because people expect that from you. And I realized last year, like I love this business. I'm always talking about how I'm building this business, how I'm helping my coaches, how I'm doing trainings, because I am. But I allowed my fear, my limiting belief of being too much, like, oh, I'm scared, like I'll be too much or too pushy, or like I'll want them to run too fast and they won't be ready to run with me. When in reality, what I learned, because in 2020, I turn it back on and I'm like, who wants to run with me? I'm running. Let's go. And I started being very forthright with my coaches, and I'll explain that in a second. But what I learned is that my coaches were joining me because they wanted someone who was pushing them. So you have to analyze too what you're putting out there on social media. If you're putting out there on social media, like community, like we have the best tribe around, someone's going to join you for community, right? And that might look very different than when someone joins me because I've been talking about a paycheck or income or building a business or working hard. So it's funny because my coaches that joined at the end of the year last year, who I have really good relationships with, I don't know them before Beachbody. I mean, we've been friends on Insta for forever. They've been watching me on Insta for forever. Finally joined me. And so then I turned it back on in 2020 and I'm like, let's do this. And so I told my team, I was like, they all know my limiting belief is me being too much in the team page, like too much training or too much excitement or too much like, let's run, that I'm going to like scare people away because they're not as into it as me. And I had like a slew of my new coaches say, I joined you because of this reason, because I saw you were a go-getter on social media. I saw that you were always like working hard, talking about working hard, or talking about building an income or helping your coaches build an income. They're like, they literally have told me like, thank you for being this way. Whereas I was scared to be that way to my team because I thought I was going to like scare some of my coaches away because I was too much. So I just had this huge aha moment that I was putting one thing out there on social media, but then I wasn't being it in my team page out of fear. Again, remember how I said fear will never go away. It will always get you in some manner. And so I realized I was actually cheating my coaches because they were seeing this side on social media, but I would water it down for the team because I didn't want to like, oh, what if I overwhelm a new coach? Has anyone ever thought that? Like, what if I overwhelm them? Like, what if we have too much training going on? What if we have too much like work, like, and I realized my coaches, that's actually why they were joining me, because they wanted that. So analyze what you are putting out there on social media, because that's what you're going to attract. And if you're not attracting what you want to build, you need to change your messaging on social media, right? Because if you're like, I want people who work hard, but then you're talking all the time about how like, oh, I don't have to work today because I'm my own boss, so I'm just going to get my nails done because it's Monday at 3, you're going to get a bunch of people who don't want to work either. Versus when my babies are sleeping, I'm like, I'm going to work, or I'm working with my babies beside me because I'm cool with that. So look at your messaging. And then the last thing, and this is a hard pill to swallow. And I just went with my elite leaders to Mexico, and you guys might know Artina, but her and I talk all the time. She's one of my elite coaches, and like being like on the same playing field as her, we of course vent to each other. And every time, if I'm venting like, man, my team, they're not really advancing, or my team isn't hitting Success Club, or my team isn't working. Like anytime I'm venting to Artina about that, no matter what, I literally always end with, but I know it's my fault. And so we're in Mexico, we're reflecting on the past year. We're talking about like this coming year. And I've talked to her so many times, and she's heard me say this so many times. And I said it again. I said, I have nobody to blame with my team's growth except for my own. I said, it all comes back to me. And she looked at me and she said, you really believe that, don't you? And I'm like, yes, like 100%. And this is probably the hardest pill to swallow as a leader. But your team will always follow your energy. Your team will always follow your footsteps. And whenever my team isn't blowing up or doing as much or hitting Success Club or advancing rank or any of those things as much as I'd like them to, it's my fault. I literally cannot blame anyone but myself.
Because again, you know how I told you guys, I'm really good at turning it on, turning it off, turning it on, turning it off. I can have a slow year, a fast year. Like so I've seen it, and I see how my energy changes and how my team's energy changes with that. And 2020, I turned it back on, and what happened? Oh my Lord. Coaches are coming out of the woodwork that want to work this business who haven't done anything in a year. Why? Because of my energy. And I want to make sure I'm very clear on energy, not training, right? They're coming out of the woodwork because they're hearing me talk about my big ass scary dreams. Even though my big ass scary dreams are like so big, I'm terrified that they can't connect to them. But again, when they hear me talking about my big ass scary dreams, they're like, if homegirl thinks she can do that, why can't I earn $1,000 a month? Why can't I match my full-time income? So we get to lead, and that energy is everything. Additionally, I know my team is up to me to build. So when I say it's my own fault that my team isn't exploding or isn't where I want them to be or isn't having as many rank advancements, it's because I'm not finding the right people continuously who want to build this business with me, who want to come in and run with me. So I have no one to blame but myself, because if I have over here Sally and Sue and they're my current coaches, right? And I'm putting, if anyone, whatever your goals are for this year, but if I'm thinking, oh, Sally and Sue are my next 2 diamonds. Okay. And then let's say Sally and Sue both decide, oh, nope, we just want to do this for the community aspect of it. And we just want to work out with a team. And so they decide to stop building. Whose fault is it if I don't rank advance? Mine, if I put all my eggs into Sally and Sue's basket. Sally and Sue are not the basket holders for me, right? I hold my own basket. So if I give that to someone else and say, oh, Sally and Sue are my next 2 diamonds, they're going to help me go 2-star diamond, and then they quit, I have no one to be mad at but myself. Sally and Sue get to choose what life they want. I don't get to put my expectations or my goals into Sally and Sue's basket. Get your hands out of other people's baskets. Stay in your own basket. And continue to find coaches who align with your vision and your mission. Because I think that's what I see happen most, is like, I'll have coaches and they're like, oh, well, they'll be like, Lisa and Terry are my next 2 diamonds. And Lisa and Terry haven't hit Success Club like literally in 8 months. And I'm like, why are those people your diamonds? Because they said they wanted to be cool. They're actually not your diamonds until they do something. So I don't ever listen to what people tell me. I watch their actions 100%. And I also, with that, again, I never put expectations onto a coach. So I'm never expecting a coach to go to do anything. And you know what that allows me, you guys? If I don't expect my coaches to do anything, and I tell them this on my Getting Started Right call, I say, I believe in you. I see your potential. I believe you can do anything, but I have no expectation for you in this business, meaning you can never disappoint me. You can never let me down. And it'll always be our relationship first and then the business. And since I don't put these expectations on them, even though they know I believe in them, they don't feel this pressure to advance rank or they're going to let me down. We have a very open relationship because they know I have not tagged them as my next diamonds. So they know, like, I'm cool with them no matter what, which I am cool with them. And that also takes so much frustration off of me as a leader, because I'm not getting pissed off the next time someone's like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore, actually. I'm like, that's cool. I am here to support you no matter what you want to do, whether that's a fit camp, whether that is, just hang out on our team calls on Tuesdays. Like, I'm here to support you through that. Do I believe you have a ton of potential to be whatever you want in this business? 100%. I think you could blow this business up, but you have to decide that for yourself. And until you're ready to do that, I'm happy to help you reach whatever goal is on your heart. And it's the mix of supporting them and also building belief in them at the same time, and them also feeling that this really isn't about me. It's really not about what I want and if I want them to do X, Y, and Z. And on top of that, the other thing, because I have these relationships with my coaches, especially my newer ones, I will ask them permission to be forthright with them if I know that they're building. So this is kind of, leave that conversation because that's totally different. That conversation, sorry, I'm just jumping all over the place. So leave this conversation we just had.
But if I have a coach who's like, hey, Ike, stop. He's the worst dog ever. He really is. But if I have a coach who I know is building, you guys, and they want to build, and I know their why, because we got on a Getting Started Right call. They told me what they wanted from this. They told me about their daughter who's at home, who they want to be at home with her, but they can't. So they have to work full time. And so they want to move with their whole family, but they can't. So how they need to make $50,000 a year. And I know this about them. And we've had this conversation. It does a few things. One, the next time they come to me for help, number one, I've already pump them up full of belief as much as possible. I mean, I send voice messages. I'm like, girl, do you see your Instagram? You should be blowing this up. You're absolutely amazing. Like, you are an it girl, everyone, but you're only posting once a week. So this goal you have to earn $50,000 a year, when you're only posting maybe once or twice a week, and only one of those is about your health and fitness, and you haven't ever posted your progress, probably not going to happen. Right. And I know you want to leave your job, and I know you want to move to Montana with your family. And when you do that in 2 years, you want to be making 50K. Like, you can do that because I see you and you are a badass. And if anyone can build this business, you can. But why aren't you posting? Because that's going to change the game for you. And that's how I talk to my coaches. Like, it is the sandwich of, oh my gosh, you're amazing. You're amazing. Here are your goals. Why aren't you posting again? I don't remember why. And then they tell me and they say, thank you for yes, like, I do want to do this. And like, having that open relationship with my teammates while also finding new coaches all the time, right? Because that is literally a real conversation I just told you about. Like, I had that conversation last week. She's amazing, freaking amazing. Do I think she could be like an elite top coach? 100%, but she's not performing yet at that level. So in my mind, I'm going to go find 5 more of her this month while she is getting her bearings. I'm never like waiting for that girl I was just talking about to go, even though like she's bad at, like, when she joined my team, I was like, yeah, woo, like, it coach. But I'm not waiting for her to grow. I've already found 15 more hers since she enrolled. So that way I don't have to put pressure on her or make her feel some certain way or bank on her to be one of my next diamonds. Okay. Yeah, that's all. I think that's all I have. I'm sorry, I bounced all over the place. What questions do you guys have? I know I just like threw so much at you.
No, that was awesome. That was fire. So,
I do guys have. So you said not overwhelming them with like information. So do you have your new coach training in that and you add them, you don't put expectations. So do you just say, this is the training, let me know when you complete it, this is your business, you take it at your pace, or how do you approach that?
Yeah, I'm totally happy to give you guys a copy of my welcome email also.
Yes. Thanks.
For all I care, you can have access to the Think of It course. It's nothing special. Like, literally don't care. And if you want to know why I don't care, it's because I know in this business, you can literally have access to Melanie Mitra's training, Lindsay Matway's training, Ashley Molsa's training, Emily Favre's training, Moira's training. It does not matter. It really doesn't. What matters at the end of the day is your energy, you pumping belief into your coaches, and you having a relationship with them. That's it. So like, those people who you might think like, oh, if I just had their training, it's not the training. It's a relationship. It's a pumping belief. It's knowing your coaches. It's all the things. So your question being, how do I not overwhelm them? Okay. So the welcome email that they get, it sends them to a Think If It course. And again, I don't care if you guys all log in there or not. I'm not going to even know, to be honest. And when they do that, each Think If It course has an assignment for them. And so to give you a summary of it, I do a 1 hour business in a box call with my new coaches. It's recorded. So in that, we go over their why, Success Club, Emerald, making their first post, having their first conversation. It's a lot. It's a lot of stuff. I think it's like actually 80 minutes, an hour and 10 minutes long. So they go over all that. And then the rest of the stuff in the Think If It course is literally just the coach office trainings, like the basic one, like they're 5 minutes or something. So really they just have the one training for me. And after that, it tells them to send me their list of 100 people. it tells them like, send your upline X, Y, and Z. Send your upline your coming out post. Right there, then I know who is working, because they're in my inbox and sending me like their list of 100, or they're sending me their coming out post. So it shows me who's actually going through the training, and they're approaching me at their own pace. I also have new coach calls as well every week for 45 minutes. And so I kind of know from there who's showing up. So let's say a coach doesn't show up and like, oh, are they overwhelmed? No matter who my coaches are, I'm checking in with them once a week, no matter what. So it's very like, hey girl, just want to check in and see how you are. That's it. That way they can tell me, because some people will be like, just started 21-day fix, I'm loving it. And then I know they're fitness focused right now. Some people will be like, oh, I'm trying to make this coming out post. Some people are like, oh, I haven't looked at anything yet. So I'm checking in on them once a week, no matter what, especially those first few weeks. And then they have the training that's taken at their own pace. And then I have my new coach call every week. And I just see who hops on there. Does that help? Does that answer that question?
Yeah. Do you check in every week just for a certain amount of time as they're new, or all your coaches?
Yeah, no, just for a certain amount of time, usually for like 4 to 6 weeks, or until they don't respond to me. So like I have people ghost me all the time. Right. And, so then if they don't respond to my check-ins, then like after 3 or 4 check-ins, if they don't respond, I either message them and I'm like, hey, I'm here whenever you're ready, just so you know, or I just don't message them again.
Okay. Thank
Kind
you.
of depends.
Oh,
Coming over this way.
Yeah.
I have a question. So I know you said you don't set expectations, because then you're never going to be disappointed in them. But obviously, if you have a coach signing up and they're telling you their goal is to make $1,000 a month, I'm sure you're still going to align that with like, okay, we're going to shoot for Success Club, we're going to rank advance. Like, you're still outlining those things.
Yes. Please. Yeah. Please don't let that. Yes. So when I am telling them, like, I believe in, so this, in that setting, it is a group call. So there's usually 4 or 5 coaches, new coaches on it. Right. And so in that setting, it's a group call. And I'm saying like, you get to choose how you build this business. You get to choose at what speed, you get to choose X, Y, and Z. And I'm here to support you in your personal goals. And so I tell them like, I see so much potential. I know what you guys can do in this business. I don't have any expectations. I just want you to know that you'll never disappoint me, but I will always be your cheerleader no matter what. And if you have specific goals, I want to know them, because I want to be able to meet you where you're at so I can help you bring those goals to life. So yes, does that make sense? That's like literally what I would say on a call just now. So then later when we're speaking, like when I'm like, hey, what are your goals? Then I can speak to their goals personally versus everybody's. But yeah. And from the get-go, that first training, it's like, what is Success Club? It's like dream big, know your why. You can do anything. Success Club, Emerald. We've mentioned Diamond. We don't go into it, that type of thing. And I do set the expectation. If you are here to build a business, then it's about helping at least a very minimum 3 people a month. So I set the expectation, I guess, in that way, like in regards to like
If
a
it aligns with
blanket.
goals, obviously.
Yeah. If your goals are to build a business, you need to be hitting Success Club 5, better yet 10 every month. Yep.
Perfect. Thank you.
Good question. Thank you for asking that.
Don't be shy, girl. Anything else, ladies? Any other questions? Come on. No.
She said
This is not a very quiet group of girls.
We're
This is
just
why we're all quiet.
Pages of notes.
Okay, I have a question, Ruth. How do you keep track of people that you talk to, that you start conversations with? What is it that you do to keep your brain together?
Are we talking about like my new coaches or just people like on Instagram?
Customers,
People that you're contacting to sign up as potential customers or coaches.
Yep. Okay. So I am a disaster. So I have like 3 different answers to this, but on Instagram, does everyone have like a general folder now? So on Instagram, anyone that I'm speaking to about the business or boot camp goes into the general folder. That's what I do there.
Fine with that right there.
Do what?
I said that was just mind blowing right there. That
Yeah. So anyone on Instagram who is business or boot camp related, they go into general. So like that way I know when I open that folder, anyone who I've invited or who has responded to a poll or we're in conversation about it, they go into the general folder. I also have Streak set up because I have applications. I don't get a lot of applications. You know how it's like swipe up from an application or fill out the application. It's not like I get a lot of those. But I do have Streak set up for that in my email. So anyone who does fill out an application goes into Streak. Streak is also how I keep up with my challengers as well and my new coaches. They're all in Streak. But full disclosure, I have my assistant update all that stuff. So she manages my, like when I get Success Club points, she goes in and puts all those people in Streak. So that way they're organized in there. So I don't have to do that. She's keeping track of that on Streak for me. But because I am such a disaster and I'm also like a paper person, I actually also keep track of my people on paper. Hold on. I'm like, let me find it. So like I have my new customer tracker. So even though it's in Streak, I like to have it just like, okay, so I don't have to get into Streak and I can just like be like, okay, I haven't heard from so-and-so in a while and they're a new customer in my bar group. Like, let me check in on them. So I have that to just check in on my new coaches and customers. I still write it down on paper to monitor my own people. And then something else that I find highly effective if you have goals, big goals, is that I have this. I've used something, I just remade it. It used to be ugly. So if you've ever heard me talk about this before, you've probably seen like this bubble sheet. And I used to just break this out each month to track. But now, so I have my monthly goal tracker. So this is for the month. And up top, I have new customers, new coaches, and I put Ben's new coaches over here. I haven't updated this in like a week though. I have coaches who are in Success Club or have points. So once my personally sponsored coaches have points, their name goes on here. Once they have 4 points, they get circled like that. Once they are in Success Club, they get a highlight. Because if you're building a team, and if you want your team to do well, it's recognition is everything. So this helps me recognize my coaches. So once their name goes on here, I can go send them a message like, awesome job, Sheila. Like you just helped your first person as a new coach. You're killing it. And then at the end of the month, what I'll do, so like coming up this week, I'm going to huddle up all my 2019, probably 2018 still too, and 2020 coaches and do a small group call with them to help them hit Success Club at the end of the month. Just like an invite only with people who are on the Success Club board. And then I have ranking advancements for the month down at the bottom. So I always have goals like in regards to how many coaches I want to help, how many customers I want to help, and how many of my how many coaches I want in Success Club every single month. And then rank advancements, how many of those I want. So when I do this as a leader, it doesn't tell me in regards to, oh, you should do a training. This is just let's make sure I recognize that I'm in this person's ear. Like if I have a new coach, Kelly, she's on the board, I'm going to be twerping in her ear. Like, Kelly, you already helped 1 person. I know you can help 2 more. How are you feeling about it? Like I'll send her a voice message like that. Like, I know you're a rock star. Like, and so like all coaches need is a little bit of belief to do it. They just like, they know nothing else at all. So especially like all they need is just someone cheering them on and saying like, you got this, like you can totally do it. Hi, little baby. Hi, how old are you?
I'm 4 months.
Oh my goodness, so cute. Any other questions?
Yeah.
Anything else, ladies?
So good. Thank
So
you.
good.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was awesome.
Oh, and I'm going to end with this because this is like a big group of people. Biggest mistake I see people make trying to go from, let's say like diamond to whatever their next level is, or even 1 star or 2 star. Biggest mistake I see my coaches make, and I harp on this all the time, but for some reason they don't hear me, they try and do everything alone. They try and start their own like downline team page and try and do all their own trainings and try and do all their own team calls and try and do all their own stuff. And they are literally wasting their time. Like they are, especially if they, you know, have a ton going on with life and momming and jobs and stuff. The best thing you can do is show up in your collaborative team page, whatever that is, and be a leader in there and be loud and proud in there. One, why it helps everybody in your room right now is you, as someone's upline, you might say the same thing to Sally 15 times. She doesn't hear you. And then your other coach friend, Beth, hops in the page and says the exact same thing you've said to Sally. And then Sally's like, oh my God, did you hear what Beth said? It was so good. But when you guys work together, you're so much stronger because that scenario I just said is going to play out 1.5 million times. And if you take you and your 20 coaches and you try and go elite with your 20 coaches that you have on your team right now, you're literally adding clutter to your coach's ears, where instead go to your collaborative team page, the big team page, and show up in there and be a leader. One, it's going to help everyone in the room. But more importantly, your coaches, they're going to be more in tune to that page. So they're going to hear if all the leaders here went and gave a tip. Not even a tip, you guys. You are a leader not by tips, but by sharing your vision, your mission, and things that scare you that you're doing anyways. So like, you don't have to go in there and do a training. What you do need to go in there and say is like, hey, you guys have probably done this, but like, here's my goal by the end of the year. I want to leave my job and be a stay-at-home mom. Like, that's my goal. I'm so scared to say that out loud. Does anyone else have any big goals? That right there is a leader. You're going to see people follow in your footsteps. People who go in there and like, hey, everyone get to Emerald this week. It might help, but it's not going to ever help without that first piece of, I want to be a stay-at-home mom who wants to do this with me. Like, I'm going to bust my tail this year to be a stay-at-home mom. I'm going to do all the things. Does anyone else have any big goals? That starts the fire, and then the Emerald trainings become important, and then the Diamond trainings become important because they're already fired up about their vision for the year. I hope that helps, but I see that happen all the time where coaches try and like lead their own teams, and inevitably they actually go backwards because they're trying to drag their coaches or create a new training, and they're wasting time versus build your business first. Go hit Success Club 10, 20 first. Find those 5 working coaches this month, and then go in your collaborative team page and lead in there as a unit versus individually.
Boom. Cheers to that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Well, I'm going to go watch the Chiefs. So good to see you guys. I hope this was helpful. And have a great rest of your weekend.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Ruth.
Bye, guys.
Bye.